Alright, so I got this old John Deere here. It's an LA 130 for those curious. And I gotta take the back tire off. I figured I'd take this time to talk a little bit about tires. Many years ago I did a video on rear tires about the axle key. But I never did a video on what happens if the tire does not come off the axle. Now, a lot of times these rear tires, they will rust weld to the axle. This is your axle right here. The majority of them are going to be 3/4 diameter. This is a lawn tractor, so it's 3/4 diameter. Some are, you know, they got bolt-on hubs, which you'll never have to worry about taking the tire off. And then some got a 1-inch axle. Now, what happens is they get rust welded and they don't come off. And people think, well, you know, heat it up with a torch, you know, do the heat quench method, all that fun stuff. Well, then you risk heating this axle and cooking all the internal seals and stuff in that transmission. And if you smack it hard enough with a back hammer, you'll bust a clip that retains the axle in the transmission, and you will pull the whole axle out of the transmission, deeming it non-repairable, because it will destroy the inside of it. So chances are, if your rim is rust welded to the axle, you're never going to get it off, unless you want to do some major repairs. I'm trying to get this clip off without it flying. There we go. This one here does not look too promising. This one's going to be rust welded. Yep. So I'm going to have to stuff a tube in it while it's up on the stand like this. Even though I got a seal kit for this transmission, I really don't want to, you know, do that. So let me go grab a hammer and some spray. Alright, so I got some really good spray. Look at the rust just pouring out. I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to go behind it with a little dead blow hammer and see if I can get it to budge. I believe it moved. I'm going to spray some of this stuff behind here. So how do you prevent rust welding? Well, if you get your tire off, clean the shaft up with a flap wheel and put an anti-seize compound on it. I don't think it's going to move. I could be very wrong. Moving. So I like to use a dead blow. Don't mess up on that. I'm going to beat on this for a while and see if I can get it to come off. Okay, so I'm getting extremely lucky. I had to get a 8-pound sledgehammer out, but I'm not, you know, hitting on it hard, and it's coming off, which is a good thing. So I'm going to spray some more of this secret spray that I use. It's not for sale to the general public. You have to be a registered service center to obtain it. It's about off. Getting lucky. Off it went. Now let's clean up that axle. Forgive me if the camera angle is bad. It is really bright out here. There's our axle key and all that stuck in there. So we're going to get right down to it. Spin it some. Alright, that right there is plenty good enough. Don't worry, I got a pad on the ground to catch runoff. All good and clean. Take all this off. The keyway is stuck in there. The way to get these out is pretty easy. There's our keyway. That's usually where they rust up, is around that axle. You know, you can take a wire wheel and do it, but like that, and we'll hit it with some brake spray. Clean it off real good. We can take our retainer off. A lot of times the ends of the axles will get mushroomed out, but what I was talking about with the axle seal is you can't heat it to get it off. As you'll see here in just a minute. Like I said, it is super bright out here and I can't even see the screen on the camera. It's our axle spacer. Alright, that right there is your axle seal that's kind of pressed up in there. So if you were to heat that shaft, it would cook this seal. Now, this seal's still good. It's pliable and everything. We'll go ahead and spray the camera and all with some brake cleaner. That's always good. Give us all a spray down. Then what we're going to do, as soon as that dries, which is dry enough now, we're going to put some of this on here. This is, whoa, sorry about that. This is copper anti-seize compound. I recommend the copper over aluminum. And it smells horrible. I wouldn't recommend getting it on your skin if you have skin allergies like me. And we're just going to put it all on this axle here. Put it all on the back too. It's not going to hurt nothing. It's kind of like a paint. You don't have to put it everywhere. I normally do. And you put this on there, your tire will never stick to the axle again. You gotta be careful here not to get any of this on my hand or fingers, or it's going to be a pretty bad day for me. You take our axle spacer, just push it over like that. It'll smooth it out. And then as soon as I put a tube in the tire, we can put it back together. There is our keyway. Remember this from a very long time ago. This thing needs a drive belt too. Holy moly. Remember this from a long time ago. Always put your axle key in when you take a back tire out, or you're not going to move anywhere. I'm just going to go ahead and lay that there. And yeah, grind the rust off. You kind of have to hope that you can get the tire off. Now you can heat it. You just don't want to get the axle red hot, but putting any type of heat on this axle, you risk cooking the axle seal and all the other little O-rings and gizmos and gadgets inside the transmission. These Tough Torque K46s are not hard to put a seal kit in. It's just, why do something extra when it can be prevented? So I'm going to go stuff a tube in this tire. I'm not going to do a video on that because a lot of choice words will be said. And I'll have to fix the rim too, where I bent it with that big hammer. But yeah, That's how you get a rust welded tire off, if it'll even come off. I got lucky on this one. The last one I tried would not budge at all. And I used a whole can of special spray on it. Accidentally touched that. Keyway, there we go. Good. But yeah, I used a whole can of special spray on it. It says it's flammable, but it's really not. I mean, if you get it hot enough, it will burn. I've had it smoking before. But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and get this tube put in so I can put this tire back on and be done with this project. So I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.